Section 8 housing program provides a voucher to individuals who need the help, right? Individuals who may be on a low income, moderate income. Sometimes individuals make a good income, but because of their family size, they still would not have enough to cover market rate rents. So there's a housing voucher program, and it pays the landlords directly or a portion of the rent, and then the tenant pays zero, or they pay, I believe, up to around 30% of their income. There's a stigma with Section 8 that Section 8 tenants are going to destroy the property. Section 8 is going to lead to dependency, and maybe individuals won't work as hard to make a living, to make a better income. That Section 8 kind of handicaps them. And then another popular stigma is that Section 8 is difficult to deal with themselves as an entity. Now, the first two stigmas, I believe, are fallacies. But that last stigma is what I have a big problem with, which is Section 8 is a difficult, or dealing with them is going to be difficult. In my experience, I believe that it really boils down to the county or the city, but I also believe it comes down to the management in the office. And here's where I have a problem. I currently, right now, today is July 2nd, 2025. I currently have a tenant that my client accepted the tenant for an apartment. The tenant's an older woman. She has Section 8. She's on a fixed income. The apartment is a 1-bedroom. It's just her. It's a great place. It has washer and dryer. It would be really suitable for her. She got approved for that apartment in mid-April of 2025. Like I said just a few minutes ago, today is July 2nd. We still, as of today, do not have an appointment for the inspection portion of the Section 8 process. That means that the landlord went May with no rent, June with no rent, and now today is July 2nd and the rent still hasn't been paid, and we still haven't had a response from Section 8. So my problem when it comes to the government trying to crack down on real estate agents, property managers, and landlords that discriminate against renters with Section 8, how are they going to differentiate between individuals who are truly discriminating and individuals, landlords, who cannot wait 3 months for Section 8 to get their act together? If you don't know, there is a process with Section 8. There's a lot of paperwork. They want to see a copy of the deed. They want to see a copy of the water bill, the tax bill. They like to make sure that the landlord isn't behind on those particular utilities, and that the landlord is actually the owner of the property. So Section 8 does do their due diligence to ensure that they are helping a tenant to find suitable housing, right? Which is great. But then another part of the process is they send out an inspector to inspect the property to make sure that the space is habitable, which is also great. Now, another part of the process is that the landlord is now holding an apartment while Section 8 do their due diligence. Once Section 8 is satisfied with their due diligence, they then will send out a letter to the tenant and the landlord explaining how much the lease terms and how much rent is being paid by them and how much is being paid by the tenant. And then after that letter, the tenant can begin the process of moving in. Now, during the time that the landlord was holding a vacant, move-in ready apartment, while Section 8 do their due diligence, they are not being paid. The landlord is not being paid any rent, nor will the landlord receive any sort of back pay for the time that Section 8 took to do their due diligence. Now have a vacant apartment that has been sitting vacant. For them, the apartment has been sitting vacant since March, because the apartment hit the market in March. We didn't find a tenant until April. So for them, they're like, okay, great. April we got the tenant, but now it's July. We are in July, and Section 8 is not responding. They're calling Section 8 multiple times a day. They, being the landlord, the potential tenant, and the tenant's adult daughter who lives in another state, who's just trying to help her mother, are calling Section 8. The tenant herself is actually taking public transportation down to the Section 8 office to try to see if she can get someone in person to speak to her, to let her know what's going on. When can she move? And on top of things, where she lives isn't ideal for her. It isn't kept up. And she said that it's deplorable conditions where she lives, which is a more of a reason why she want to get out of there as soon as possible. And we have a landlord that's ready to go. We have an apartment that's ready to go. The holder is Section 8. And we don't know what the holdup is because there's a lack of communication from Section 8. So again, my question is, how is the government going to eliminate discrimination? How are they going to fix this issue where landlords have to wait? I think most landlords expect to wait around 30 days for Section 8 to do their due diligence, but 90 days is a lot. And I think it's a lot to ask of a landlord. This is a problem. I had a tenant in 2024 that came to me where she was approved for an apartment in April, and they didn't send the inspector out until June. And by June, the landlord had already found another tenant, a cash tenant, and the tenant moved in. Section 8, the government, HUD, they cannot expect landlords to sit on move-in ready apartments for months at a time waiting on Section 8 to do their due diligence. This deal literally took about 4 months, and it makes no sense that it took that long. But I'm happy she got the keys. She can move in. The apartment is in the same condition it was in when she first saw the apartment. Everything is all good except for the wait time.